very sophisticated in telling tales to themselves, that truly for some people it makes them survive trauma, you know, not remembering how bad it was, not remembering how awful, you know, schools were, situations were, etc. And that's a very sophisticated way for us to survive certain things. And then there's the tall tales that are always making excuses, and I'm sure you've seen this a lot. But the Year of the Snake, you know, gives us an opportunity to see that perpetual tale that you keep telling. And Magic's got his tail. He's got words. And what is the tale that we're telling ourselves that makes us stagnant? Oh, really? He's like, I have a tale to tell. Do you have a tale to tell? What's your tale? Oh, I think I hit something and all these sparkles came down. No matter. We'll keep them on, shall we? Blessings on blessings on blessings. So that tale that we tell, and I'm sure that's what you're talking about, Monsi, the tale that those people have told about this work being original, or it was their idea. That's a tale that they've told. And this used to be something that was very pertinent in the times before. And actually Robert Greene writes about it in the 48 Laws of Power, in the first law of power, which is never outshine the master. And what does that mean? And what it means to me is always giving flowers to the people that are your teachers, you know. And in yoga we have that lineage where you always say who your teachers are and what lineage you come from. And even bagpipers do it. They will say what the who made the pipes, where the song is from that had been changed from 1788, yada 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 yada. So you have all of these, and that's what that is about. Always giving acknowledgement, always giving credit. And in the 90s, rappers used to do it. They used to always talk about, you know, people like Lil Wayne or DMX, and they always would say about the people that came before. And you can see it sometimes in the industry where people will talk, you know, about actors that got them into the business, or directors, or someone that inspired them. That is that law. And because no one is an island, right? No one does it on their own. There's always inspirations. There's always people that are doing something that you get an idea from. And it's always good to kind of give credit, because that does come back energetically. But the tall tales that we tell is that snake eating its own tail. And of the tales it has told. I can't do it, I'm not enough. Well, that's really convenient, because then you don't need to try, if that's the mantra, right? I'm not enough, it's too much for me, I'll never make it. These are all convenient mantras. And these are tales that we tell, you know, depending on upbringing, society, culture, and that can end up being the snake eating its own tail and getting nowhere. And this shift in the next 24 hours between the Yin Snake and the Fire Horse. The last time I believe there was a Fire Horse, it was 1966. 1966. And in that time, we can look back and see certain similarities of energy that went into movement, energy that shifted. And the Fire Horse is all about momentum. It is all about the force of momentum. Horses have an energy field 5 times larger than the human. So, and you have a different point of view if you're riding a horse. You know, there's many different types of horses. There are Shetland ponies that were little horses that worked on the farms, that went down mine shafts. They're just sturdy little horses. And you have wild horses that are undomesticated. And wild horses are a completely different horse to a domesticated horse. A wild horse is posturing a lot. It is reading the energy of the other. It is letting the other know what's going on with when it pulls its head up and it nods and its ears go back, or it paws at the ground with its hoof, or it screeches, or it goes up on its hind legs just slightly even. And these are warning shots. Don't try me. I'm not in the mood. This is our watering well right now. You can have it later. Come back later. So horses, that's the wild horse. And the wild horse, you know, it doesn't come for a biscuit or a cookie or a treat. It is very discerning. And we'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow, I thought. But this transition between the snake that's on its belly to the horse that is very grounded. And when we sit on a horse, you know, women throughout, you know, medieval times and always kind of roadside saddle. And it was only in the 1900s where women actually rode a horse the way men rode horses. It was seen as unseemly because mostly women were in dresses and skirts and they were on those saddles to the side. Wow, could you imagine the hips? Oh my God, the injury and the stiffness from the hips. But that was their norm. So then when they saw women, you know, with open legs on a horse, people were horrified. But the women in the frontiers, you know, they had no time for all of that. They were wearing like breeches underneath their skirts sometimes and just getting on a horse. Or they were just wearing trousers. So it is, we definitely have a big difference between the snake and the horse. And snakes, horses don't really like snakes. When they see them, they'll either jump up and down to stamp them out and kill them. Because if a snake bites a horse on the leg, it can become lame, usually. And lame horses, most people will put down. So snakes and horses don't really get along. And horses don't really kind of tolerate the snake. So this last this last moment of this Yin Snake, just asking yourself, what are some of these patterns and tales that I keep telling? And I can just write them down tonight and just say that I'm having closure with them. What are some of the tales that I tell myself? You know, the stories, the narratives, the mantras of eating my own tail. And what are some of the patterns that I'm just going to break? Right? What are some of the patterns that I'm going to, you know, in AA they say that doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, I'm paraphrasing here, is insanity. And humans are creatures of habit. And when we get into sometimes being a creature of habit, we miss, unless you're energetically aware, you miss opportunities to have a transmission or a message to do something different. And we get stuck in our ways, especially as we get older, because we have more time in this planet. So we have more energetic familiars, and we have more energetic grip of our patterns. So, you know, it's always good to kind of change things up and try different paths, try different ways. And what are some of the things that you see as the snake eating its tail? What are some of the things that you see? Because that seems to be the feeling I'm getting as we're ending this year. And it's a very yin energy. It's not something really big. It's very subtle. Sometimes it's even the subtleness of getting up at the same time. You know, having our clock at the same time every morning. But why not 5 minutes earlier than that? It go off. And then, what are some of the other subtle energies of the Ouroboros? Of the snake eating its own tail? Being weak and a victim? Yeah. And the thing is, you know, there has to be an awareness. You have to be in an ecosystem of work that you're able to see that and be able to acknowledge it, and it not be an accusation. It not being, it's like, oh, I think I'm in a victim mentality, or wow, I think I'm doing this from a weak place. And that takes a level of humility, self-discovery, and joy, even the joy of seeing and admitting and being able to push through that. And once it becomes part of who you are, it's easier. But when you start to do this work, especially here at Pause and Joy, it can be very triggering for a lot of people to look at some of the things that maybe they've been accused of, even. You know, hi there, Javier. Because, you know, the accusation, and I'll give you an example of this. I remember someone saying to me many years ago that what we ended up working on was how her heart was so closed and she was really kind of afraid and closed-hearted, and she realized that all of her partners had said this to her, but in different ways. Like in your 20s, someone says it to you and you're like, well, that wasn't very nice. A jerk. And then someone else says it to you as you're coming up to 30, and you're like, wow, that's just rude. And then in your 30s, you know, someone you like says it, and they're like, you know, I really kind of can't get in there because it just seems all kind of closed off. And then it might be said in a little softer manner. And then you start to realize this has been said repeatedly. And you don't know how to process it. And then after 15 years, there's a pattern. And you start to look at the pattern, you start to unpick the pattern. And you see that it's because of a pain that happened when you were 15 or 16 that you closed off. But it's only when you start to see the associations. Or it can become like a snake eating its own tail, repeating and repeating and repeating. Another cycle. So this night, you know, let's do what horses do. There's horse breath in yoga. And I'm a great lover of horse breath. I do it a lot before I go to bed because my dogs do it too. If those of you that have animals, they usually go like this when they're in bed. And to me, it's a very animal, it's a remembrance of our own, that we're part of this harmony with the creatures. And this little noise that they all make when they're in bed. The day's gone. Cats do it. Dogs do it. And horses. And I love that sound. Just and it's very good for the vagus nerve. It's like a sigh and a release. And it really settles the nervous system. So try it. It might be difficult for some people. And it just allows us to kind of just release. And then, my dogs, what's happening? You can run your fingers, your V fingers, up. You know, so your ears are there, and then down the vagus nerve after your horse breath. But it's going to be amazing. And it's going to be fast sometimes. It's going to be bolting and a different vantage point, because horses give you that different vantage point. And it's going to be exciting, right? It's going to be exciting, Magic? Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Let me show you him. He's exciting. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, there you go. See, you want it up. Now you're up. Now you're up. It's going to be an exciting 2026. We have a workshop tomorrow at 5. So that's just at the other side, 15 minutes after. What are you doing? Oh. You went down now yet? The solar eclipse. Our ancients didn't like eclipses. You know. And this one is going dark. The solar eclipse. And that's it's not fading from the snake here into, you know, the ear of the horse. It is going dark. So it's a real end of maybe not even a chapter, maybe it's the book of this series in your life. And now we're in a different series. We're in the second book or the third book in your life's story. It's not really a story. We call it a story, but it's really more a diary entry. It's more taking notes of the life that is lived forward. You may reflect and have ideas of later on, but really it's about being very, very present with the unfolding of your life. And a lot of people are in the past and a lot of people are in the future, and they're missing, you know, it's that cliche, they're missing the now. Be here now, Ram Dass said. And that is truly where people write books from, or they write scripts from, or music and ideas. The work is in the present. So it's good to see you. I'll see you tomorrow at 5 PST for us to really kind of delve into the year of the fire horse, which is 15 minutes after the solar eclipse. But tonight, cast out those snakes, the ones that are definitely cycling, the ones that are where you see yourself eating your own tail. Maybe it's in your workout. Maybe change up your workout. Maybe change your teacher. Maybe do someone new, something different. But even we get attached there, right? You get annoyed when it's that teacher doesn't show up, or there's a sub. And just noticing that, noticing not going with the flow of something new, and being less rigid. I used to see that riding, people who were bare knuckling, you know, the reins, because they were really afraid of their horse. It was too much horse for them. And you can tell a lot about a person on a horse, around horses, because they see right through us. Their brains are the same size as ours, and they read us. And once you really connect to them, they are the best. But until then, we have a lot of stories about horses. Your ancestors had them. That's what you went to the store in your buggy. And I think our disconnection from the horse has made us more neurotic and anxious. Because just being around them in that field that they have, that is 5 times larger, settles your nervous system. So when we remove them from the streets and put these mechanical cars, and we remove them from families, because people would go out and check the livestock at night, and it was part of the family, the horse. So even going all the way back into Mesopotamia, some of the Arabians, they used to actually come into the tent, you know, with the families, because they were considered family. They were spoiled horses. They still are. And they're so spoiled that they know that they can, like, hey, where's my Jim Jams and my giant bed? There's so many different personalities in horses, so yeah. And there will always be one to match you. That's the interesting thing. So, whether you like it or not, the momentum is the horse. And whatever that is that you need to get rid of in your story or the tale that you tell, get rid of that. And I'll hop on tomorrow, because it won't be until the lunar eclipse. Sorry, the solar eclipse, which I think can be seen, those of you in South Africa, and obviously all the military down in Antarctica. If you know, you know. And yeah, I look forward to seeing some of the amazing things. It's already, I can see it started with a lot of you. You're doing so much amazing work. And, you know, it's, the mantra last week seemed to be with everybody, it's all happening, it's all happening. So let's keep that going into the year of the horse. It's all happening. And that excitement, that thrill, that fear, all happening simultaneously. So, good to see you all. Take care. Mwah. Oh, there it is.